Hi again, everyone. I am back to read the third myth in Cynthia Ryland's The Beautiful Stories of Life, 6 Greek Myths Retold. We are going to get started. I'm going to give you no warning. We're just going to jump in. So, the myth of Orpheus. There are some who cannot face reality. Orpheus was one of these. And the inability to accept and live the truth eventually destroyed his life. Orpheus was a mortal, but he had a strong streak of the gods running through him, for his father was the god Apollo. Apollo was the most sensible of all the gods and revered for his ability to see to the heart of a matter. When the time came for decision-making, men prayed for Apollo's guidance. There is, in this story of Orpheus, a sad irony, as one day he would need his father's famous clarity and refuse to seek it. The mother of Orpheus was not a deity, but a muse created to inspire. Her gifts, coupled with Apollo's love of music, produced in Orpheus a truly charmed offspring. The boy was destined to be different. Orpheus learned to play the lyre when he was very young, and it was not long before it was clear to all just how extraordinary the boy was. For whenever Orpheus made music, all things surrendered to his spell. Fierce beasts became docile, howling winds suddenly whispered, raging oceans calmed, and all gods and mortals quieted into peace. This is real power, the ability to control the turbulence both outside and within any man. And Orpheus had the choice to use it for good or for ill. Fortunately, Orpheus had integrity, and he grew into a man who valued meaning above power. He did not use his music to serve his own ego. Orpheus eventually met and fell deeply in love with a young woman who caused his heart to surrender. Plans were laid for their marriage. Their wedding day was beautiful. The soft winds were warm, roses bloomed, and all of the birds sang for the musician and his bride. After the ceremony was over and the vow was made, the happy couple parted to visit with their guests. Orpheus stepped away to share a goblet of nectar with his brothers, and his young bride strode through a yellow field with her sisters. And here is where cold fate stepped in. For as she moved joyfully among the tall grasses in her shimmering gown, filled with hope for the years to come, the bride of Orpheus was struck by a viper in the grass and died on the spot. The anguished cries of her young husband broke even the hearts of the trees. With any death, there always comes its sister, regret. A beloved passes from life, and there are the questions those left behind must ask. A multitude of questions that inevitably mix into just one. Could the beloved have been saved? There has never been a truer story of life than this. No mortal can change the course of destiny. This reality Orpheus could not accept. Before the day was ended and his bride's body grown cold, Orpheus had made up his mind to descend to the underworld and get her back. All of his life, Orpheus had gotten what he wanted through the magic of his music. Those who have known power are often the ones who struggle hardest against fate. They look for any way around it. Orpheus picked up his lyre and set off for the dark caverns of Hades. In doing so, he joined the ranks of all those sons who refused to seek their father's better wisdom before stepping into disaster. His music opened every door. It gained him passage into the underworld, across the river of forgetting, and past the three-headed dog that guards the gate. The music made the dog like a puppy. Soon Orpheus was standing before the throne of Hades, sitting with calm Persephone at his side. Orpheus played his lyre for the king and queen of the dead and sang his sad story. As he did, tears rolled down Persephone's face, and Hades himself struggled to keep his stony pose. The last note of the song sung, Orpheus then asked the god to return his bride to him. Only for a while. Just a while, said Orpheus. Time enough for a life together. She was taken so young that they had no life. Just a while, he asked. And then the god could have her back for eternity. Shaken by the music, moved by the plea, and not himself at all, Hades agreed. He would allow the girl to return to the living. Orpheus, however, must obey one command. He must not look back at his bride until they had both stepped into the light above. Orpheus agreed with all his heart. Then, from the dense gray mist, his pallid bride stepped forth, her legs still bearing the angry mark of the viper's fangs. Orpheus saw her and cried with joy. They turned to go, she following behind, and made their way back to life, across the river of forgetting, ascending. When at last Orpheus stepped out into the light of day, he turned around with rapture to finally embrace his bride. But his young wife had not climbed as easily or as quickly as he. She was still just within that doorway of darkness. No, cried Orpheus, reaching for her. But without even time for a farewell, she vanished. Hades would have her after all. One death is enough for any man to bear, but 2 deaths were too much for Orpheus. He lost his mind. He wandered the earth, crazed and suffering for many months. Orpheus could not be helped. Just like a wounded animal, he was easy prey. And one day, a tribe of drunken nymphs, angry that he no longer pleased them with his music, killed him. They tore him apart in a frenzy of rage and threw the pieces of him into a river. However, with this deadly act, they unknowingly saved Orpheus from the misery of his own life. He descended for a second time into the dark regions of Hades, and his pale bride was still there, waiting. They were at last, and for all time, together. The end. Don't say I didn't warn you, it was sad. I hope you enjoyed it still. It is a really beautiful tale. There's a reason it's been around for thousands of years. So next time we're gonna read The Myth of Pygmalion, which I promise is happier. It's weirder, but it's happier. So check that one out next.